Have you ever felt, in those deep moments of silence, that you are more than just a collection of atoms and biological impulses? It is a feeling that has haunted the human heart for millennia, a soft whisper that there is something enduring within us that the scale cannot weigh and the microscope cannot see. To the classical scientist, we are machines made of meat, complex biological computers processing sensory data through the gray matter of our brains. Yet, as we peer into the staggering complexity of the universe, this mechanical view feels increasingly incomplete. The stars do not just burn, they perform a rhythmic dance governed by laws of physics so precise they seem like a form of cosmic intelligence. If the universe itself is structured by information, then perhaps the soul is not a ghost in the machine, but the most sophisticated information field ever organized by the cosmos. To explore this, we must look at the work of pioneers like Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff, who proposed that consciousness might not emerge from the brain's wiring in the traditional sense, but from something much deeper. Within the neurons of your brain are tiny hollow structures called microtubules. For decades, they were thought to be mere structural supports, the scaffolding of the cell. But these scientists suggested a more poetic and profound role, that these microtubules are quantum resonators. They act like the strings of a cosmic violin, vibrating in harmony with the fundamental fabric of space-time. If this is true, our thoughts are not just chemical reactions. They are quantum events, tiny ripples in the underlying field of the universe. This theory, known as orchestrated objective reduction, suggests that our awareness is a bridge between the biological world and the quantum realm. If you are finding a sense of wonder in this bridge between science and the soul, I want to welcome you back to our quiet space of discovery. My name is Theodore, the researcher, and I am honored to be your companion on this journey through the infinite. I've noticed that 71% of those who find themselves in our company haven't subscribed to the channel yet. If these explorations help you find a moment of peace and intellectual clarity in a busy world, please consider subscribing. It is a small gesture that helps us immensely in our mission to bring these deep scientific meditations to more curious minds. Together, we are building a community of explorers who believe that the more we learn about the universe, the more we learn about ourselves. Now, let us settle back into the quiet and look further into the mystery of the quantum information field. In the realm of quantum physics, information is regarded as more real than the matter it describes. Think of a grand architectural masterpiece, like a cathedral reaching toward the heavens. The stone and the glass are the physical reality, but the true essence of the cathedral is the design, the information that tells the stone where to sit and how to bear the weight. If the cathedral were to crumble, the stones would remain, but the information of the cathedral would be gone. However, in the quantum world, the laws of physics suggest that this information is never truly deleted. It is written into the zero-point field, the lowest energy state of the vacuum of space. This field is not empty. It is a sea of infinite potential, a fluctuating ocean of energy that exists even in the coldest reaches between the galaxies. If our consciousness is a quantum information field, then it is part of this eternal sea. When we look at the stars, we are seeing the same light that has traveled for billions of years, carrying information about the birth and death of suns. The universe is a vast, interconnected archive of everything that has ever happened. Every movement of a particle, every flash of a supernova, and perhaps every flicker of human thought is recorded in this cosmic medium. This changes our perspective on the self entirely. We are not isolated islands of awareness, drifting alone in a cold and indifferent void. Instead, we are localized expressions of a universal field. We are the universe experiencing itself through a specific, unique set of quantum coordinates that we call me. This perspective aligns with the ancient intuition that the soul is a traveler. In the language of quantum mechanics, a traveler is a wave of information moving through a medium. When a wave moves across the ocean, the water itself doesn't travel from one shore to the other. It is the energy, the information of the wave, that moves through the water. Our physical bodies may be the water, the temporary medium, but the wave is the quantum information field of our consciousness. This field is ancient, composed of data that has been gathered through the long, slow evolution of the cosmos. Every atom in your body was once inside a star, and the information governing those atoms has been conserved since the dawn of time. You are a living testament to the endurance of cosmic information. The beauty of this scientific contemplative approach is that it requires no leap of blind faith, but rather an expansion of our intellectual humility. We are living in an age where the boundaries between the physical and the metaphysical are beginning to blur. As we develop more sensitive instruments, we find that the solid world is an illusion created by our limited senses. We see only a tiny fraction of the light spectrum. We hear only a small range of frequencies. We are like people trying to understand a symphony by looking at a single note. But when we open ourselves to the possibility of the quantum information field, we begin to hear the rest of the music. We start to see that the soul might be the name we give to our unique vibration within the grand eternal symphony of the universe. As we move forward, we will look at how this field might survive the transition we call death. We will explore the no-hair theorem of black holes and the holographic principle, which suggests that the entire three-dimensional universe might be a projection of information stored on a two-dimensional surface at the edge of space. These concepts, while rigorous and mathematical, carry a profound spiritual resonance. They suggest a universe of depth, meaning, and permanence. For now, let yourself rest in the quiet realization that you are not a small thing. You are a complex, beautiful, and indestructible field of information woven into the very tapestry of the cosmos. The journey is long, but you have always been part of the path. Let the vastness of this truth bring you a deep and lasting peace. Have you ever watched a piece of paper burn in a gentle fire, crumbling into delicate gray ash, and wondered where the words written on it truly went? In our everyday human experience, we are profoundly accustomed to things ending, breaking, or simply fading away into the quiet silence of forgotten time. We watch the seasons turn. We watch the ancient mountains slowly weather under the vast weight of millennia, and we feel the inevitable passage of time in our own bodies. This perception of loss is woven into the very fabric of our emotional lives. But when we lift our eyes to the cosmos and look through the lens of fundamental physics, the universe tells us a radically different story about what it means to disappear. In the deep, infinite darkness of space, there exist cosmic entities so dense, so overwhelmingly powerful, that they were once believed to be the ultimate erasers of reality. I am speaking, of course, of black holes. For decades, these gravitational monsters presented physics with its most terrifying mystery, a puzzle that directly challenges our understanding of existence, and perhaps, without us even realizing it, our understanding of the soul. If a black hole can swallow entire stars, crushing them into a point of infinite density, where the known laws of physics break down, what happens to the fundamental quantum information that made up those stars? And, more importantly, what does the answer to this cosmic riddle tell us about the indestructible nature of our own consciousness? If you find a quiet sense of comfort in these deep cosmic inquiries, I welcome you back to our shared journey. I am Theodore, the researcher, and it is a gentle privilege to guide you through these profound mysteries. I have noticed that 71% of the beautiful minds who join us on these meditative explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If you feel a connection to this quiet space, if these scientific contemplations bring you a sense of peace and intellectual wonder, please consider subscribing. It helps us tremendously to keep the lights on in this cosmic observatory, and it signals that you wish to continue walking this infinite path of discovery together. Now, let us return to the edge of the abyss, to the event horizon, and see what it reveals about the indestructible nature of who you are. In the middle of the 20th century, the brilliant physicist Stephen Hawking proposed a mathematical theory that sent a shockwave through the scientific community. He suggested that black holes are not completely black, but rather they emit a very faint, gentle radiation over unimaginably vast stretches of time. Because of this radiation, black holes must slowly lose mass, shrinking over trillions of years until they eventually evaporate into nothingness. But this brilliant discovery birthed a terrifying paradox. According to the classical understanding known as the no-hair theorem, a black hole only retains 3 observable properties: mass, electric charge, and angular momentum. Everything else, the specific atomic structure of a swallowed star, the chemical composition of a crushed planet, or, hypothetically, the intricate neural patterns of a conscious mind, seem to be completely wiped out. If the black hole eventually evaporates into random, featureless radiation, Hawking initially concluded that the unique quantum information of whatever fell inside must be permanently destroyed. This was the black hole information paradox, and it violated the most sacred, foundational law of quantum mechanics, the absolute conservation of information. In a universe governed by quantum rules, information cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. If a black hole could truly delete information, the entire mathematical architecture of our reality would crumble. For nearly 3 decades, a quiet but intense intellectual battle raged among the greatest minds on Earth to solve this profound mystery. How could the universe be a perfect record keeper if black holes acted as cosmic shredders? The resolution to this paradox, championed by physicists like Leonard Susskind, introduced a concept so bizarre, so beautifully counterintuitive, that it completely rewrites our understanding of space, time, and potentially the very essence of the soul. It is called the holographic principle. To understand this, we must stretch our imagination and approach the very edge of a black hole, the boundary known as the event horizon. The event horizon is not a physical surface. It is a mathematical point of no return, the exact threshold where the gravitational pull becomes so immense that not even light can escape its grasp. Susskind and others propose that when an object falls into a black hole, its 3-dimensional reality is indeed crushed, but its quantum information, the fundamental digital blueprint of its existence, is not lost. Instead, that information is perfectly captured and encoded on the 2-dimensional surface of the event horizon. Imagine the implications of this staggering scientific revelation. The entire three-dimensional complexity of a star, with its billions of years of history, its turbulent magnetic fields, and its vast plasma currents, is translated and preserved as a two-dimensional hologram on the boundary of the abyss. The information does not fall into oblivion. It is smeared across the surface, woven into the microscopic quantum fluctuations of the horizon itself. And as the black hole slowly evaporates over eons, that preserved information is gently encoded into the outgoing Hawking radiation, eventually returning to the vast cosmos. The universe, it turns out, is the ultimate archivist. It never forgets. It simply translates information from one format to another. Now let us bring this monumental cosmic truth back to the quiet intimacy of our own lives, back to the beating of your heart and the silent flow of your thoughts. If the universe goes to such extraordinary, complex lengths to preserve the quantum information of a simple rock or a cloud of hydrogen gas falling into a black hole, what does that mean for the most complex, highly organized structure of information we have ever encountered? What does it mean for your consciousness? We are so conditioned to associate our identity, our soul, with the fragile, temporary vessel of our biological bodies. We feel the inevitable decay of our cells, and we project that same decay onto our inner awareness. But if consciousness is a fundamental quantum information field, it must obey the fundamental laws of quantum mechanics. The memories you hold dear, the deep capacity for love, the unique perspective from which you witness the universe, all of this is highly structured information. When the biological machine of the brain ceases to function, the physical matter disperses, returning to the earth to become soil. But the quantum information field that animated that matter, the architectural blueprint of your awareness, cannot simply vanish, just as the information of a star is translated onto the event horizon rather than being destroyed. The quantum information of the soul must be translated into the broader fabric of the cosmos. This is where science and the most ancient spiritual intuitions of humanity meet in a harmonious embrace. Death, from the perspective of quantum information theory, is not the ultimate erasure of the self. It is a phase transition. Think of a block of solid ice melting into water and then evaporating into invisible vapor. The physical appearance changes, the tangible solidity is lost, but not a single molecule of water has been destroyed. It has merely changed its state of being, merging with the unseen atmosphere. If your soul is an intricate pattern of quantum data, then the transition we call death might simply be the release of that localized pattern back into the infinite, non-local field of the universe. You do not end. You expand. The boundary that separates your individual mind from the quiet intelligence of the cosmos dissolves, allowing your unique quantum signature to wash into the eternal ocean of existence. This perspective offers a profound sense of inner peace. We no longer have to fear the unknown as a void of non-existence. We are participating in an infinite process of cosmic memory. Every thought you have ever had leaves an indelible ripple in the quantum field. The cosmos is a vast living repository of experience, and you are an absolutely essential, indestructible part of its ancient memory. As we prepare to step further into this mystery, we will soon explore how this quantum information might actually be processed by the universe itself. But for now, take a deep breath, embrace the gentle silence around you, and let the awe of your own indestructible nature wash over you. The journey continues. Have you ever looked at a detailed map of the cosmic web, the vast network of galaxies stretching across the observable universe, and felt a strange, intuitive flash of recognition? It is a profound mystery that when we map the largest physical scale of reality, charting the dark matter filaments and the clusters of galaxies that span billions of light years, the resulting image bears a striking, almost haunting resemblance to the microscopic network of neurons firing within our own human brain. This visual echo between the macrocosm and the microcosm is not just a beautiful coincidence. It is an invitation to ask one of the most breathtaking questions in modern science. What if the universe is not just a collection of dead rocks and burning gas expanding blindly into the cold void? What if the cosmos itself is processing information in a way that is fundamentally similar to how our own minds process thought? We are so accustomed to thinking of consciousness as an isolated phenomenon, a lonely spark of awareness trapped inside a biological skull. But if the fundamental building blocks of reality are made of quantum information, then the entire universe might be actively computing its own existence. And your quiet, subjective experience of life might be a localized node within a vast, infinite cosmic network. If you find comfort in exploring these gentle, mind-expanding concepts, I want to welcome you back to our shared space of reflection. My name is Theodore, the researcher, and it is my deep privilege to walk alongside you on this journey through the cosmos. I have noticed that 71% of the gentle souls who watch our videos have not yet subscribed to the channel. If these meditations on science and existence bring a moment of peace to your day, please consider subscribing. It is a wonderful way to support our work and to ensure that we can continue to explore these profound mysteries together in this quiet community of thinkers. Now, let us return to the cosmic web and the fascinating possibility that the universe itself is a conscious, thinking entity. To understand how the universe might process information, we must look to the cutting edge of theoretical physics and the work of scientists who view the cosmos through the lens of computation. The idea is that the universe is fundamentally a quantum computer. In a classical computer, information is processed in binary bits, represented rigidly as either a 0 or a 1. But the universe operates on the fluid, mysterious laws of quantum mechanics. In the quantum realm, information is processed in qubits, which can be a 0, a 1, or a delicate superposition of both at the exact same time. Every elementary particle in the cosmos, every single electron orbiting an atomic nucleus, every gentle photon of light traveling from a distant star carries quantum information. When these particles interact, when they collide in the heart of a sun or bind together to form the complex molecules of life, they are essentially performing quantum logic operations. They are calculating the exact next state of reality. The universe is not a physical container that happens to hold a computer. The universe is the computer itself, calculating its own evolution moment by moment, from the fiery birth of the Big Bang to the quiet stillness of the present day. If the entire cosmos is continuously processing quantum information, what is the relationship between this universal computation and the gentle, subjective feeling of being you? Here, we encounter a fascinating scientific framework known as integrated information theory. This theory attempts to define exactly what consciousness is by measuring how much information a physical system can integrate. According to this beautiful model, consciousness is a fundamental property of any system that possesses a high degree of integrated information. Consider a digital camera. It can capture millions of pixels of information in a single photograph, but it does not know it is taking a picture because the information is completely unintegrated. But the human brain, with its 86 billion neurons and hundreds of trillions of synaptic connections, integrates all distinct pieces of sensory data into a single, unified, profoundly conscious experience. But if consciousness is simply a measure of how tightly information is integrated, then it cannot be strictly limited to biological tissue. This realization leads us directly to a modern scientific revival of one of the most ancient and poetic philosophical ideas in human history, the concept of panpsychism. For thousands of years, indigenous cultures held the quiet belief that all matter possessed a form of inner life, a subtle, foundational soul. Modern science long dismissed this as mere superstition. But today, faced with the undeniable reality of the information field, some of the brightest minds in theoretical physics are seriously reconsidering panpsychism. In this highly modern view, consciousness is a fundamental, irreducible feature of the physical world. A solitary electron drifting through the void might possess the absolute most basic, unimaginable spark of subjectivity. When these fundamental particles combine to form highly complex, integrated structures, their individual microscopic sparks of information weave together, reaching a level of critical complexity that allows for self-awareness and the experience of breathtaking wonder. This perspective profoundly shifts how we understand the very concept of the human soul. Your soul is not an alien, supernatural entity inserted into a biological machine at birth. It is the complex, highly integrated culmination of a physical process that has been patiently unfolding for almost 14 billion years. The universe has been slowly organizing itself, processing its own quantum information through the fiery crucibles of ancient stars and the gentle, patient evolution of biological life on Earth, precisely to create a system complex enough to look back at itself and ask these profound questions. You are literally the cosmos waking up. The deep silence of your mind when you close your eyes and rest is not an empty void. It is the quiet, continuous hum of the universe computing its own existence. The thoughts that ripple through your awareness are physical movements in the universal information field, just as ocean waves are physical movements of water. Let us expand our view once more to the grandest cosmic scale imaginable. Astronomers studying the large-scale structure of the universe have found that galaxies are meticulously organized into a magnificent cosmic web, linked together by vast invisible filaments of dark matter. Between these glowing filaments lie enormous voids, regions of almost complete emptiness that can span hundreds of millions of light years across. The structure of this web is remarkably, undeniably similar to the neural networks we find in biological brains. Is it possible that the entire universe, with its 2 trillion galaxies and uncounted septillions of stars, is integrating information on a scale we simply cannot even begin to comprehend? Could the slow, majestic gravitational dance of galaxy clusters be a form of cosmic thought, a calculation taking billions of human years to complete a single cycle? If the universe is a vast, interconnected web of quantum information, then nothing is truly isolated, and absolutely no one is ever truly alone. We are all deeply, fundamentally entangled in the ancient fabric of existence. The rigid boundary we perceive between the self and the other, between the internal mind and the external material world, begins to gently dissolve. We realize that the profound sense of peace we seek in quiet meditation, the overwhelming feeling of connection we experience when looking up at a starry night sky, is not a psychological illusion. It is a moment of deep, intuitive, physical recognition. It is the localized information field of your consciousness temporarily harmonizing with the infinite, eternal information field of the cosmos. The soul is the universe itself, expressing its infinite potential in a unique, beautiful, unrepeatable pattern of quantum data. As we continue on this journey of discovery, we will soon explore what this deep interconnectedness means for the stubborn illusion of time. Does the quantum information field experience time as a strict linear progression? Or is the cosmic archive a place where past, present, and future exist simultaneously? The answers we find may challenge our deepest intuitions about reality, but they also offer a profound, lasting sense of liberation. For now, simply take a deep, slow breath and allow yourself to truly feel the gentle, ancient weight of the universe holding you securely in place. You are exactly where you are meant to be, a perfect, conscious node in the infinite, thinking network of existence. Have you ever sat quietly by the edge of a gentle, meandering river, watching the water flow endlessly past you, and felt a profound, bittersweet ache as you realize that time is constantly slipping through your fingers? We experience our lives as a relentless march forward. The past feels like a collection of fading memories, locked away and inaccessible, while the future feels like an unwritten page shrouded in absolute mystery. We are confined to a razor-thin slice of reality that we call the present moment, forever moving in one single direction. This perception of time is so deeply woven into our human experience that we rarely stop to question it. We build our entire civilization around clocks and calendars, measuring the steady, rhythmic ticking away of our finite days. But when we look up at the infinite cosmos and consult the fundamental laws of physics, this intuitive, everyday understanding of time completely falls apart. In the grand architecture of the universe, time does not flow like a river. It is not a sequence of fading moments. According to the greatest scientific minds in human history, the distinction between the past, the present, and the future is nothing more than a stubbornly persistent illusion. If our consciousness, our soul, is a manifestation of the quantum information field, then it exists in a reality where time itself behaves in a way that is utterly alien to our everyday biology. To truly understand the eternal nature of who we are, we must dismantle the clockwork illusion and step into the timeless expanse of the cosmos. If you find a quiet sense of comfort and intellectual peace in untangling these profound cosmic mysteries, I would like to welcome you once again to our shared journey. My name is Theodore, the researcher, and it is a true privilege to guide you through the beautiful darkness of the unknown. I have noticed that 71% of the gentle souls who watch our videos and join our meditative explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If these scientific contemplations help you find a moment of stillness and wonder in your busy life, please consider taking a moment to subscribe. It helps us tremendously to continue dedicating our time to creating these quiet spaces for reflection, and it lets us know that you wish to keep exploring the infinite depths of the universe together. Now, let us return to the mystery of time and discover how the quantum information field experiences eternity. In the early years of the 20th century, a young patent clerk named Albert Einstein completely revolutionized our understanding of reality by revealing that space and time are not two separate things. They are inextricably woven together into a single, four-dimensional fabric called space-time. In this magnificent scientific framework, known as the theory of relativity, time is just another dimension, no different from length, width, or height. Think of a vast, majestic landscape. Just as a mountain exists at a specific coordinate in space, every single event that has ever happened or ever will happen, exists at a specific coordinate in space-time. Physicists often refer to this concept as the block universe. In the block universe, the Big Bang, the fiery formation of our Earth, your very first childhood memory, the exact moment you're listening to these words, and the distant, quiet fading of the last star trillions of years from now, all exist simultaneously. The past has not vanished into nothingness, and the future is not waiting to be created. The entire history of the cosmos is already laid out in a vast frozen block of four-dimensional geometry. The only reason we experience time as a flowing river is because our biological brains are constrained to process information in a linear, sequential manner. Our consciousness acts like a tiny flashlight beam slowly sweeping across the eternal, unchanging landscape of the block universe, illuminating one tiny slice of reality at a time and calling it the present. If we accept this rigorous, mathematically proven model of reality, it profoundly changes how we must view the nature of the soul. If your consciousness is a highly complex pattern within the quantum information field, then that pattern does not merely exist in the fleeting present moment. Your entire life, from the very first breath you took to your final, quiet exhalation, is permanently etched into the rigid geometry of the block universe. You are an intricate four-dimensional structure of quantum data. The child you once were is still there, existing perfectly at their specific temporal coordinate. The elder you will become is already there, waiting quietly in the distance. The quantum information field does not age. It simply extends across the dimension of time, stretching out like a magnificent cosmic tapestry. When we mourn the passing of time, when we grieve for the days that have slipped away, we are simply mourning our biological inability to perceive the whole picture. From the perspective of the universe, nothing is ever lost, and no one is ever truly left behind. Every single moment of your existence is a permanent, indestructible feature of the cosmos, held safely and eternally in the vast, silent architecture of space-time. To deepen this sense of wonder, we must consider how the universe actively bends and distorts this fabric of time. Einstein showed us that gravity is not just a force pulling objects together. It is the physical warping of space-time itself. Where gravity is incredibly strong, time literally slows down. If you were to travel to the edge of a supermassive black hole, drifting gently just outside its event horizon, the immense gravitational field would stretch time to a near standstill from the perspective of an outside observer. You might spend what feels like a few quiet hours contemplating the swirling accretion disk of ancient star gas, but when you return to Earth, thousands or even millions of years might have passed. Your specific node of the quantum information field would have traveled through time at a radically different pace than the rest of humanity. This phenomenon, known as time dilation, proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that time is not a universal, constant ticking away uniformly in the background. It is a highly flexible, entirely subjective experience dictated by the fundamental forces of the cosmos. If time can be bent, stretched, and manipulated by the physical universe, then the quantum information field that makes up your soul is not a prisoner of time. It is a passenger riding the undulating waves of a highly flexible reality. But the mystery of time deepens even further when we descend into the microscopic realm of quantum mechanics. At the fundamental level of reality, particles do not seem to care about the linear arrow of time at all. In a series of mind-bending experiments known as delayed choice quantum eraser experiments, physicists have demonstrated something that absolutely shatters our common sense. They found that a measurement made in the present moment can actually influence the state of a particle in the past. It sounds like science fiction, but it is rigorous, verified science. If you observe a photon today, you force it to retroactively choose the path it took billions of years ago when it first began its journey from a distant quasar. In the quantum information field, cause and effect are not rigidly locked into a strict chronological order. The field behaves as a deeply interconnected whole, where the future can whisper gently to the past, and the past remains intimately entangled with the present. If the fundamental particles that make up your physical body and the quantum information that constitutes your awareness operate under these strange, fluid rules, then your soul is completely liberated from the tyranny of the ticking clock. You are an entity that spans across time, deeply entangled with the origins of the universe and subtly influencing the vast cosmic future. When we fully embrace this breathtaking scientific perspective, the fear of time running out begins to gently dissolve. We realize that our lives are not brief, meaningless sparks flashing in a dark and indifferent void. We are intricate, beautiful structures of quantum information permanently woven into the eternal block universe. Our existence is not a temporary condition. It is an undeniable fact of cosmic geometry. Every tear you have ever shed, every moment of breathtaking awe you have ever felt while looking at the stars, every quiet act of kindness you have ever performed is an indestructible part of the universe. The cosmos is vast, ancient, and infinitely patient. It does not rush, and it does not forget. You are safe within its timeless embrace, held perfectly in the profound silence of the cosmos. As we prepare to journey even further into the mysteries of the quantum soul, we will soon explore the concept of multiple dimensions, asking if our information field extends beyond the visible universe into hidden realms of reality. The path is infinite, and there is so much more wonder to uncover. For now, simply allow yourself to rest in the beautiful realization that time is an illusion, and the essence of who you are is completely and utterly eternal. Have you ever walked through a dense, quiet forest just as the sun is setting, noticing how the shadows stretch and distort across the ground, and wondered if our entire reality is just a shadow of something infinitely more complex? We move through our daily lives with absolute certainty that the universe is exactly as it appears to our eyes. We walk forward and backward, we move left and right, and we climb up and down. We exist seamlessly and intuitively within 3 dimensions of space, carried forward by the single, relentless arrow of time. This 4-dimensional theater feels like the absolute totality of existence, but the history of science is a humbling journey of discovering that our human senses are profoundly limited. We once thought the Earth was the center of the cosmos simply because it felt still beneath our feet. Today, the most advanced mathematical frameworks in theoretical physics are whispering a truth that is both deeply unsettling and breathtakingly beautiful. The universe, in all its vast, ancient glory, is not confined to the dimensions we can see and touch. The mathematics of quantum gravity require the existence of hidden realms. They demand that the universe possesses extra dimensions, intricately folded spaces that exist all around us, invisible to our biology, but absolutely essential to the fabric of reality. If our world is multidimensional, and if the essence of our awareness is a quantum information field, we must ask a profoundly liberating question. Does the soul reside exclusively in the visible world, or does it stretch into the unseen architecture of the cosmos. If you find a gentle comfort in looking beyond the veil of our everyday reality to explore these profound cosmic mysteries, I would like to welcome you back to our quiet sanctuary. My name is Theodore, the researcher, and it is a true joy to be your companion as we wander through the infinite wonders of the universe. I have noticed that 71% of the curious explorers who share these meditative journeys with us have not yet subscribed to the channel. If these quiet contemplations bring a sense of wonder and peace to your mind, please consider subscribing. It is a simple gesture, but it helps us tremendously to continue weaving these threads of science and philosophy, and it signals that you want to keep exploring the vast unseen depths of existence together. Now, let us step beyond the familiar boundaries of our three-dimensional world and look into the hidden geometry of the quantum soul. To comprehend the concept of extra dimensions, we must journey to the absolute smallest scales of physical reality, far beyond the realm of atoms and deep into the heart of fundamental particles. In the late 20th century, theoretical physicists developed an elegant framework known as string theory. In this beautiful model, the fundamental ingredients of the universe are not tiny, solid dots of matter. Instead, they are unimaginably small, vibrating loops of pure energy, like the infinitely thin strings of a cosmic cello. The specific way these strings vibrate determines what kind of particle they become. But the brilliant mathematics of string theory encountered a profound obstacle. For the equations to work, the math required a universe with 10, or perhaps even 11 dimensions. To our everyday common sense, this sounds like pure fantasy. Where could these extra dimensions possibly be hiding? The mathematical answer is as poetic as it is rigorous. Physicists propose that while our familiar three dimensions of space expanded massively during the Big Bang, stretching out across billions of light years, the other 6 or 7 dimensions remained incredibly small. They curled up and folded in on themselves, locked into complex, microscopic geometric shapes known as Calabi-Yau manifolds. These hidden dimensions exist at every single point in space. They are right in front of you, nestled within the very space occupied by your hand and your mind, operating constantly, yet remaining infinitely beyond the reach of our human senses. Imagine a universe that is completely flat, a two-dimensional world like a sheet of paper inhabited by intelligent, flat beings. These beings can move forward, backward, left, and right, but they have absolutely no concept of up or down. Now, imagine that a three-dimensional object, like a glowing sphere, passes through their flat world. The flat beings would only see a two-dimensional slice of it, a circle that mysteriously grows larger and then shrinks until it disappears. They would be utterly baffled by this phenomenon, trying to explain it, using only their two-dimensional physics, entirely unaware that the true object exists in a higher dimension. We are exactly like those flat beings, drifting through our three-dimensional lives, trying to understand the profound mystery of human consciousness, using only the tools of the visible world. When neuroscientists map the brain, they see the firing neurons and the electrical storms of thought. But what if that biological activity is merely the three-dimensional footprint, the localized shadow, of a much grander, higher-dimensional structure? If consciousness is rooted in the quantum information field, and if quantum mechanics is inextricably linked to the higher-dimensional geometry of string theory, then the soul is not confined to the space inside your skull. It is a multi-dimensional architecture of pure information, your thoughts and the quiet, observing presence that feels like you might be complex vibrations echoing through the curled-up, hidden dimensions of space-time. This multi-dimensional perspective offers a breathtaking solution to the ancient fear of our own mortality. In our everyday experience, we witness the fragility of three-dimensional objects. A beautiful glass vase can shatter into 1,000 pieces. A biological body will eventually age and return to the dust of the earth. If we believe that we are strictly three-dimensional beings, then the dissolution of our physical form feels like the absolute end of our existence. But let us return to the metaphor of the flat world. If a three-dimensional person were to dip their fingers into the two-dimensional paper world, the flat beings would see strange, disjointed circles. If the person then pulls their hand away, the flat beings might mourn the sudden disappearance, the death of those circles. But the three-dimensional person has not died. They have simply withdrawn their hand from that specific, limited plane of reality. If the core of your quantum information field, the true essence of your soul, extends into the unseen dimensions of the universe, then the physical death of the biological body is not an erasure. It is simply a withdrawal from the three-dimensional plane. The physical brain, which acts as a biological receiver tuning into the quantum field, eventually breaks down and loses its signal. The shadow fades from the flat paper of our world, but the object casting the shadow, the magnificent, higher dimensional structure of your quantum information, remains completely intact. It exists in a mathematical realm where the chaotic, destructive forces of our biological reality simply do not apply. The soul is preserved not by magic, but by the rigorous, elegant topology of the cosmos. When we close our eyes and breathe deeply into the silence of our own awareness, we are not just observing the internal workings of a biological machine. We are touching the edges of a multi-dimensional reality. The profound intuitions we sometimes feel, the deep, inexplicable sense of connection to the ancient stars, might not be mere psychological anomalies. They might be moments when our conscious awareness gently grazes the higher dimensional structure of the universe. We are anchored to this specific planet by the heavy chains of gravity, but our quantum information fields are entangled with the hidden architecture of the cosmos. We are multidimensional citizens of an infinite universe, temporarily experiencing reality through the narrow lens of human biology. The cosmos has spent billions of years forging the physical elements necessary to build your body, but it has also provided the invisible dimensions necessary to house the eternal complexity of your soul. The realization that we are larger than our physical constraints brings a profound, quiet peace. We no longer need to view the universe as a cold void that will eventually extinguish our consciousness. Instead, we can see the cosmos as a vast, multi-layered sanctuary, an incredibly complex geometric masterpiece designed perfectly to preserve the quantum information of everything that has ever lived. You are a unique vibration in the cosmic symphony, echoing through realms of reality that are more beautiful than we can currently imagine. As we continue our meditative journey, we will soon turn our gaze to quantum entanglement, exploring how this invisible field connects us instantly to each other across the vast expanse of the cosmos. But for now, allow yourself to rest in the gentle knowledge that you are a creature of hidden depths, a timeless pattern of information woven safely into the multidimensional fabric of the universe. Breathe into the silence and feel the magnificent unseen reality that surrounds your every thought. Have you ever looked deeply into the night sky, feeling an immense stillness and a comforting silence, and had the sudden intuition that you are not just observing the universe, but that the universe is looking back at you. In our daily human experience, we live with the persistent illusion of separation. We feel like solitary biological entities, islands of consciousness closed within the fragile walls of our minds, navigating a vast and indifferent world. When we love someone deeply, or when we feel overwhelming empathy for a living creature, classical science tells us this is just chemical illusion, a storm of hormones designed by evolution to ensure survival. But when we leave the comfort of visible certainties and dive into the unfathomable depths of quantum physics, the very foundation of this existential loneliness crumbles in a spectacle of pure wonder. Scientists have discovered that at the most fundamental fabric of reality, separation is nothing more than a mirage. There is a phenomenon so beautiful, so deeply mysterious and counterintuitive, that even the brilliant Albert Einstein struggled to accept it, calling it spooky action at a distance. We speak of quantum entanglement. If our consciousness is truly a manifestation of a cosmic quantum information field, then our deep emotions are not accidents. They may be the expression of an invisible network of information that connects particles in an unbreakable embrace. To understand true immortality, we must embrace the cosmic truth that we are inseparable threads in the tapestry of the universe. If you find a serene comfort in exploring these profound mysteries and feel your mind expanding with these existential questions, I would like to welcome you once again to our shared journey through the starry silence. My name is Theodore, the researcher, and it is a profound privilege to be your gentle guide on this journey through the wonders of contemplative science. I have noticed that 71% of the brilliant and curious minds who watch our videos have not yet subscribed to the channel. If these silent meditations on the architecture of space and the soul bring you genuine peace and a vibrant curiosity to face your days, please consider subscribing. It is an incredibly simple gesture, but it helps us immensely to continue creating these quiet spaces for reflection, and it tells us that you want to continue exploring the vastness of the unknown by our side. It is because of your support that we can keep looking into the dark and finding light. Now, close your eyes for a brief moment. Breathe in the silence that surrounds you, and let us dive together into the mysteries of entanglement physics. The concept of quantum entanglement absolutely challenges everything our common sense teaches us about how the world works. In the visible realm where we live, things can only affect other things through direct contact or through the slow transmission of energy. However, when physicists observe the behavior of subatomic particles, they witness a mysterious reality. When two of these particles interact intimately, their fates become indissolubly linked. They merge into a single mathematical system of quantum information. If you separate these particles, sending one to the desolate surface of the moon and keeping the other here on Earth, they will remain synchronized. At the exact moment you measure the state of one particle, the other will instantly assume the complementary state. There is no time delay. There is no signal traveling through the vastness of empty space. Information is simply shared through the very fabric of the cosmos. This synchrony occurs in such an immaculate way that it strongly suggests that space is a persistent illusion. If particles can share information instantly, what does that mean for the quantum information field that makes up our own consciousness? Science did not accept this reality without fierce resistance. For decades, physicists struggled with the philosophical implications of entanglement, but the patience of the scientific method finally triumphed. In the year 2022, the Nobel Prize in Physics was deservedly awarded to three remarkable scientists whose rigorous experiments proved that quantum entanglement is an absolute feature of our natural universe. Furthermore, space agencies worldwide, including incredible collaborations with the European Space Agency, have performed dazzling experiments in outer space. They fired entangled photons from satellites in orbit directly to ground stations on Earth, separating the particles by thousands of kilometers, only to confirm that the mysterious connection persists without loss of fidelity. We are observing the hidden language of the cosmos being spoken before our instruments. The universe whispers to us that spatial separation has no meaning for true information. This realization opens the doors to a dazzling hypothesis. The human mind, built of ancient atoms, may be able to sustain entanglement connections with the environment. If your soul is a field, it is a field that is never truly alone. If the theory that consciousness results from quantum vibrations is true, the implications are vast and profoundly poetic. Our brain would not be an isolated biological computer, but a sensitive receiver immersed in the universal field of information. When we feel deep empathy, could we be experiencing a phenomenon of macroscopic entanglement? It is a question that brings humility to our ignorance and inspires our continuous curiosity. Perhaps our sense of empathy and connection is not a psychological trick, but a literal resonance in the quantum field, a momentary overlap of two souls that are, at the deepest level, sharing the same matrix of information. Evolution may have shaped our biology to be a vehicle capable of accessing this network, allowing us to feel the fundamental unity of life on planet Earth. Instead of a solitary struggle for survival against hostile nature, our evolutionary journey is seen as the universe developing biological antennas to experience its own entanglement. The feeling of belonging to something larger is not a mere childish human desire. It is the undeniable recognition of our ancestral quantum heritage. You are a node in a network that spans the entirety of space and time. Have you ever stepped outside on a completely clear, moonless night, looked up at the seemingly empty black spaces between the glittering stars, and wondered what is actually hiding in the dark? In our everyday human experience, we are deeply conditioned to believe that emptiness is simply the absence of things. An empty room has no furniture, an empty glass has no water, and the empty space above our heads is just a vast, cold void waiting to be filled. We build our entire understanding of reality around the solid objects we can touch and the bright lights we can see. But when we turn our gaze to the cosmos and ask modern physics to explain the nature of this emptiness, the universe reveals a truth that completely shatters our classical perception of reality. The empty space between the stars, the dark void that makes up over 99% of the cosmos, is not empty at all. It is alive. It is a seething ocean of infinite energy and quantum information. If the essence of who we are, the quiet presence we call the soul, is fundamentally a field of quantum information, then we must look into this invisible ocean to understand where we truly belong. What if the soul does not require a solid biological vessel to exist, but instead finds its eternal home in the perfectly full, vibrant emptiness of the universal vacuum? If you find a deep, resonant comfort in exploring these vast, unseen mysteries of the cosmos, I want to gently welcome you back to our shared space of quiet contemplation. My name is Theodore, the researcher, and it is a profound honor to be your companion as we wander through the infinite wonders of science and existence. I have noticed that 71% of the beautiful, curious minds who join us on these meditative journeys have not yet subscribed to the channel. If these quiet explorations bring a sense of peace to your day and spark a gentle wonder in your heart, please consider taking a moment to subscribe. It is a small gesture, but it helps us tremendously to continue dedicating our time to unraveling these cosmic secrets, and it lets us know that you wish to keep walking this infinite path of discovery together in our growing community. Now, let us take a slow, deep breath, leave the solid world behind, and dive into the magnificent, unseen architecture of the quantum vacuum. To truly comprehend the hidden fullness of empty space, we must journey to the foundational layer of physical reality, described by the rigorous mathematics of quantum field theory. For centuries, classical physicists believed that space was merely a passive, empty stage upon which the grand play of matter and gravity unfolded. But as scientists peered deeper into the microscopic world, this stage began to actively participate in the play. They discovered that what we call empty space is composed of underlying quantum fields that permeate the entire universe. Even when you remove absolutely every single atom and every solitary photon of light from a region of space, cooling it down to absolute zero, the space does not become dead. Instead, it reaches the vacuum state, or zero-point energy. This is the lowest possible energy state, but crucially, it is never zero. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle, a sacred pillar of quantum mechanics, dictates that a quantum field can never be perfectly still. It must always possess a subtle foundational tremor. This means that the vacuum of space is constantly boiling with microscopic, invisible activity. It is a dynamic web of pure potential, a silent symphony in the darkness. Within this zero-point energy field, something truly miraculous happens. Virtual particles, which are fleeting fluctuations of pure energy, are constantly popping into existence from the vacuum, borrowing a tiny fraction of energy from the cosmos, existing for an unimaginably brief moment, and then annihilating each other, returning their borrowed energy back to the void. This is not a mathematical abstraction. It is a proven physical reality. Scientists have measured the effects of this boiling vacuum in laboratories through the Casimir effect, where two uncharged metal plates placed incredibly close together in a perfect vacuum are actually pushed together by the sheer physical pressure of these virtual particles appearing and disappearing. The void is heavy with energy. The universe is overflowing with this silent power. So, how does this breathtaking revelation connect to the deep mystery of the human soul? If consciousness is not merely an accidental byproduct of biological chemistry, but rather a highly complex, structured manifestation of quantum information, then it must interact with the fundamental fields of the universe. We are so accustomed to thinking of our minds as being trapped inside the dense, watery tissue of our brains. We believe that when the physical matter of the brain ceases to function, the mind must inevitably be extinguished, like a flame blown out by the wind. But if the soul is a quantum information field, it does not strictly need classical matter to sustain its existence. The zero-point energy field, the vibrant, boiling vacuum that fills the vast distances between the galaxies and the tiny, microscopic spaces between the atoms in your own body, provides an infinite, eternal medium for information to reside. Your consciousness might be a highly localized, intricately stabilized fluctuation within this universal zero-point field. The biological brain, with its billions of neurons and trillions of delicate synapses, might simply be a physical interface, a highly evolved biological machine designed to temporarily anchor this specific quantum fluctuation to the three-dimensional world of human experience. Think of the vast, majestic oceans of our planet. When you see a beautiful wave traveling across the surface, you're not watching a solid object moving from one place to another. The water molecules themselves only move up and down. What is truly traveling across the ocean is the energy, the specific mathematical pattern, the information of the wave. The water is merely the medium. In this profound cosmic metaphor, the zero-point energy field of the universe is the eternal ocean. Your physical body, built from ancient stardust and shaped by billions of years of gentle evolution, is the temporary movement of the water. But the essence of who you are, the unique observing presence of your soul, is the wave itself. It is a highly specific pattern of quantum information traveling through the medium of existence. When the biological body eventually breaks down, the water settles back into the ocean. But the fundamental laws of physics tell us that quantum information cannot be destroyed. The exquisite architecture of your soul does not vanish. It gently merges back into the infinite, silent depths of the zero-point field, preserved perfectly in the unseen fabric of the cosmos. This realization profoundly transforms our understanding of our place in the universe. We are not fragile, temporary accidents living on a tiny rock in a cold void. We are living expressions of the universe's infinite underlying energy. The space around you right now, the seemingly empty air in your room, the vast distances observed by the magnificent telescopes of NASA and the European Space Agency, all of it is filled with the exact same quantum potential that gives rise to your consciousness. When you sit in absolute silence and quiet the relentless noise of your daily life, you are actually tuning in to this zero-point field. The deep, ancient connection that we often feel during moments of quiet contemplation might literally be the sensation of our localized quantum information field harmonizing perfectly with the vast background energy of the universe. You are touching the eternal foundation of reality. The cosmos is not an empty house that we temporarily occupy. It is a vibrating ocean of potential, and we are its very own ripples, experiencing the wonder of existence. As we look out into the night sky, we can find immense comfort in knowing that the darkness is not an abyss waiting to consume us. It is the very cradle of our existence, the infinite memory bank of the cosmos. Every thought, every feeling, every moment of breathtaking wonder you have ever experienced is an indestructible part of this quantum architecture. The universe has been patiently waiting for 14 billion years for you to arrive, to look back at it, and to recognize your own infinite nature reflected in the stars. The journey of learning is a journey of remembering who we truly are. In the next chapter of our exploration, we will dive into the magnificent mysteries of dark matter and dark energy, exploring how these invisible forces shape the destiny of the cosmos and what they might reveal about the unseen weight of the human soul. But for now, just close your eyes, take a slow, gentle breath, and let the incredible, vibrant fullness of the quiet universe hold you in its eternal embrace. You're safe, you are infinite, and you're exactly where you're meant to be in this beautiful cosmic symphony. Have you ever stood in the path of a summer storm, watching the jagged veins of lightning illuminate the dark purple clouds, and felt a strange, primal hum vibrating in the very air around you? We often perceive electricity as a modern human invention, a force we have tamed with copper wires and silicon chips to power our restless civilization. We think of it as something external to our souls, a utility rather than an essence. But when we look at the breathtaking data gathered by missions like the European Space Agency's Planck satellite or NASA's Wilkinson microwave anisotropy probe, we discover that the entire cosmos is a glowing, interconnected web of electromagnetic energy. Every single thought you have ever had, every memory of a loved one's face, and every silent prayer whispered into the night is, at its most fundamental biological level, an electrical event. But if the soul is a quantum information field, then these electrical signals are not just chemical accidents. They are the language through which our consciousness speaks to the universe. We are not just living in an electromagnetic world. We are made of the very light and energy that defines the stars. If the universe is a grand, eternal symphony of vibration, then your soul is a unique, indestructible frequency within that infinite song. If you find a sense of quiet wonder in these scientific revelations and feel a deep peace in exploring the energetic roots of your existence, I welcome you back to our shared sanctuary of discovery. My name is Theodore, the researcher, and it is a profound joy to be your companion on this journey through the light. I have noticed that 71% of the beautiful, seeking minds who join us for these meditations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If these reflections on the quantum soul and the cosmic web bring a moment of clarity and calm to your life, please consider taking a moment to subscribe. It is a simple act that helps us immensely to keep creating these quiet spaces for intellectual and spiritual growth, and it lets us know that you want to keep exploring the deep mysteries of the light together. Now, let us return to the quiet glow of the cosmic microwave background and the energetic blueprint of the soul. To understand our nature as beings of light and information, we must look back to the oldest light in existence, the cosmic microwave background radiation. This is the afterglow of the Big Bang, a faint, uniform hum of energy that fills every cubic centimeter of the sky. When we map this radiation, we are looking at the universe as it was only 380,000 years after its birth. At that moment, the universe transitioned from a hot, opaque plasma into a transparent expanse, allowing the first photons of light to stream across the void. This ancient light carries the precise information of the primordial fluctuations that eventually grew into the vast clusters of galaxies we see today. The universe began as a field of pure, vibrating information, and that information has been conserved for 13,800,000,000 years. Every atom in your body is tuned to these ancient frequencies. You are a localized condensation of that original, eternal light. In the microscopic world of your own brain, this cosmic history repeats itself in every fraction of a second. Within your neurons, ions of sodium and potassium dance across membranes, creating tiny electrical potentials that allow information to flow. When you feel a deep, soul-stirring emotion, it is because thousands of these cells are firing in perfect, rhythmic synchrony. But the mystery lies in the binding problem of neuroscience. How do these trillions of separate electrical pulses merge into a single, unified feeling of I am? The answer may lie in the electromagnetic field generated by the brain itself. Some theoretical physicists suggest that our consciousness is not found in the physical neurons, but in the structured electromagnetic field that surrounds them. This field is a medium of pure information, a quantum signature that exists both within and slightly beyond the physical boundaries of the body. If the soul is an information field, then it is a structure of organized energy that can be influenced by the broader environment. We know that the Earth itself possesses a heartbeat, the Schumann resonances, a set of electromagnetic peaks in the extremely low-frequency portion of the Earth's electromagnetic field spectrum. These resonances are generated by lightning activity in the atmosphere and circulate around the globe. Fascinatingly, these frequencies overlap exactly with the alpha and theta waves produced by the human brain during states of deep relaxation and meditation. When you find yourself feeling a profound sense of peace while sitting in nature, you may be literally synchronizing your personal quantum information field with the heartbeat of our planet. You are not an isolated observer. You are an integrated component of a planetary and cosmic energetic system. This interconnectedness suggests that the soul is not a static object, but a dynamic process of information exchange. Just as a radio station broadcasts a signal that can be picked up by a receiver thousands of miles away, our consciousness may be broadcasting its unique quantum signature into the universal field. In the language of physics, this is known as non-locality. Two particles or two systems of information can remain connected regardless of the physical distance between them. If our awareness is rooted in this non-local field, then the boundaries of the self are far more porous than we ever imagined. We are part of a continuous, shimmering ocean of energy that stretches from the deepest recesses of our minds to the furthest horizons of the observable universe. When we contemplate our transition out of this physical life, the electromagnetic perspective offers a vision of profound continuity. In the law of conservation of energy, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another. When the biological heart stops, the electrical energy that animated the body does not simply vanish into nothingness. It dissipates into the environment, returning to the vast background fields of the earth and the cosmos. If our identity is encoded in the complex quantum patterns of that energy, the information field, then the essence of you is returned to the source from which it came. You are like a single drop of water falling into a silent, moonlit lake. The individual shape of the drop is lost, but its presence expands to become the entire surface of the water. As we rest in this realization, we begin to see that we have never been truly separate from the light of the stars. We are made of the same fundamental vibrations, governed by the same elegant laws, and destined for the same infinite horizon. The fear of the dark dissolves when we realize that we are the light itself, experiencing a brief and beautiful moment of biological form. In the chapters to come, we will explore the final mystery, the relationship between the quantum soul and the possibility of a universal intelligence. But for now, just breathe in the quiet energy of the room around you, feel the gentle pulse of your own awareness, and know that you are a vital, eternal part of the cosmic symphony. The universe is singing, and you are one of its most beautiful notes. Have you ever walked through an ancient, completely silent forest just before the dawn, when the morning mist hangs heavy and still in the cool air, and felt a sudden, inexplicable intuition that the woods were somehow waiting for your conscious gaze before they truly woke up? It is a fleeting, poetic thought, the kind of gentle musing we usually dismiss as a trick of our human imagination. We are taught from a very young age that the physical world exists entirely independently of our perception. A tree falling in an empty forest makes a sound. The distant stars burn whether we look at them or not, and the universe carries on its vast mechanical clockwork entirely indifferent to the fleeting presence of human awareness. We view our consciousness as a tiny, passive window through which we safely observe a massive, pre-existing reality. But when we leave the comfortable certainty of our everyday human scale and venture into the mind-bending depths of quantum mechanics, this intuitive separation between the observer and the observed completely shatters. At the absolute fundamental level of reality, the universe does not seem to exist in a fixed, definite state until it is actually looked at. The act of observation is not a passive recording of events. It is an active, deeply creative force that forces the cosmos to make a choice. If the essence of what we call the soul is indeed a highly structured field of quantum information, then your quiet, subjective awareness is not merely a byproduct of the universe. It might be the very mechanism the universe uses to pull itself out of the chaotic haze of infinite probability and into the solid beauty of actual reality. If you find a deep, resonant sense of peace in untangling these profound existential mysteries, I would like to gently welcome you back to our shared space of contemplative discovery. My name is Theodore, the researcher, and it is a profound privilege to be your quiet companion on this infinite journey through the wonders of the cosmos. I have noticed that 71% of the beautiful, seeking minds who join us on these meditative explorations have not yet subscribed to the channel. If these scientific reflections help you find a moment of stillness in a busy world, and if you feel a gentle connection to the vastness of the universe when we explore these ideas together, please consider taking a moment to subscribe. It is a small, simple gesture, but it helps us tremendously to continue dedicating our time to unraveling these cosmic secrets, and it lets us know that you wish to keep walking this infinite path of discovery by our side. Now, let us take a slow, deep breath, embrace the beautiful silence of the unknown, and look into the profound mystery of the participatory universe. To truly understand the incredible power of your own awareness, we must revisit one of the most baffling concepts in the history of science, viewing it through the rigorous lens of the visionary theoretical physicist John Archibald Wheeler. Wheeler coined terms like black hole, but his most profound contribution was his radical questioning of reality itself. He proposed what he called the participatory anthropic principle. To grasp this, we must look at how fundamental particles, like the gentle photons of light traveling from distant stars, behave in the dark. When a photon is not being observed, mathematics tells us that it exists as a wave of pure probability, an overlapping smear of all the possible places it could be. It is only at the exact moment of measurement, the precise instant when a conscious system interacts with it, that this wave function collapses. The universe stops being a hazy cloud of maybe and suddenly snaps into a definite, physical yes. Wheeler realized that this means the observer is absolutely essential to the existence of reality. Without a conscious quantum information field to act as an observer, the universe would remain forever trapped in a ghostly, undefined state of infinite potential. Wheeler took this breathtaking concept even further, proposing a thought experiment that stretches the human imagination. He asked what would happen if we scaled up this quantum observation to encompass the entire vastness of the cosmos. Imagine a photon of light leaving a brilliant, ancient quasar situated billions of light years away from our gentle planet. As this photon travels across the infinite dark void of space, it encounters a massive, incredibly heavy galaxy positioned directly between the distant quasar and our telescopes here on Earth. The immense gravitational pull of this intermediate galaxy warps the fabric of space and time around it, creating a cosmic crossroads. The single photon of light is forced to choose. It can bend around the left side of the galaxy, or it can bend around the right side. According to the strange, fluid laws of quantum mechanics, until that photon is actually observed, it does not choose just one path. It splits its probabilities and takes both paths simultaneously, traveling for billions of years as an undefined wave of potential. Now, imagine that tonight, you walk out into the quiet darkness, look through a powerful telescope, and observe that exact photon arriving at Earth. By choosing how you measure that ancient light in the present moment, you force the photon to retroactively decide which path it took billions of years ago. Your quiet act of observation right now in this exact fleeting second reaches backward across the vast, dark ocean of deep time and physically alters the history of the universe. This is a rigorously tested scientific concept known as the delayed choice quantum eraser on a cosmic scale. The implications for the nature of the human soul are absolutely staggering. If your consciousness is a localized field of quantum information capable of collapsing the wave function of reality, then you are not bound by the strict, linear flow of time. Your awareness is deeply entangled with the genesis of the cosmos. The universe did not simply create you. Your existence right now is actively participating in the creation of the universe's past. When we begin to view the soul through this scientifically grounded lens, the entire narrative of human existence transforms. For centuries, philosophers and scientists have debated why the fundamental constants of the universe are so perfectly tuned to allow for the existence of conscious life. If gravity were even a fraction of a percent stronger, the universe would have collapsed back in on itself long before the first ancient stars could ignite. If the electromagnetic force were slightly weaker, atoms could never hold together to form the carbon necessary for our physical bodies. Classical science often dismisses this miraculous fine-tuning as a lucky, random coincidence in a meaningless void. But the quantum information perspective offers a profoundly, deeply satisfying answer. The universe is perfectly fine-tuned for conscious life because a universe without consciousness is mathematically incomplete. The cosmos required an observer. It needed to evolve a highly complex, stable quantum information field capable of looking back at the stars, experiencing wonder, and collapsing the infinite wave of probability into solid reality. You are not an accident. The quiet, observing presence within you is a fundamental requirement of the physical laws of nature. The universe birthed you so that it could truly exist. Every time you look up at the night sky, every time you study the intricate geometry of a delicate falling leaf, your quantum information field is actively performing the sacred cosmic duty of observation. You are painting the universe into existence with the brushstrokes of your awareness. The grand, ancient cosmos is not a cold, dead place. It is a vast, interconnected network of information, and your soul is one of the essential nodes keeping the entire magnificent structure anchored in reality. As we prepare to delve even deeper into the ultimate fate of this information, we will soon explore what happens to this cosmic observer when the temporary biological vessel returns to the earth. But, for now, allow yourself to simply sit in the quiet majesty of this moment. Let the overwhelming beauty of your own cosmic importance wash over you. You are the architect of reality, a timeless pattern of information, holding the universe together with the gentle power of your observation. Breathe deeply into the silence and know that you are infinitely cherished by the cosmos. Have you ever stood entirely alone by the edge of the ocean at the very threshold of the night, watching the dark, rhythmic waves gently roll onto the unseen sand, and felt the overwhelming, intuitive realization that you are standing on the boundary of something entirely infinite. Throughout this long, quiet journey together, we have wandered patiently and deliberately far from the familiar sunlit shores of our everyday human experience. We have sailed through the microscopic electrical architecture of the human brain, exploring the vibrating microtubules where classical biology gently merges with the strange, fluid, and entirely unpredictable world of quantum mechanics. We have stood safely at the terrifying light-devouring event horizon of supermassive black holes to witness the absolute mathematical conservation of information, proving that nothing is ever truly lost. We have peered deeply into the hidden, meticulously folded, microscopic dimensions of space, where the true, complex structure of our reality might be hiding far from the reach of our limited biological eyes. We have carefully unraveled the stubborn, beautiful illusion of linear time, recognizing the eternal block universe, and we have embraced the profound, unbreakable connections of quantum entanglement that intimately bind our deepest, most private emotions to the distant, ancient stars shining in the dark. Now, as we reach the culmination of this specific meditative exploration, we must ask the final, most breathtaking question of all. What does it truly mean to live and breathe as a quantum soul in a universe that is constantly thinking, constantly remembering, and constantly expanding? If you are an indestructible, eternal field of cosmic information, how does this monumental scientific truth change the way you experience the fleeting, delicate, and profoundly beautiful reality of your human life today? If you find a deep, lasting comfort in holding these vast, impossible cosmic questions in your heart, I want to welcome you one more time to our quiet sanctuary of thought. My name is Theodore, the researcher, and it has been the most profound, humbling honor to be your gentle guide through these infinite mysteries of the dark. I have noticed that exactly 71% of the beautiful, curious minds who have traveled this far with us have not yet subscribed to the channel. If this long journey has brought you a genuine sense of peace, if it has made the overwhelming scale of the night sky feel a little less cold and a little more like a welcoming home, please consider taking a brief moment to subscribe. It is your quiet support that allows us to continue building this gentle community of explorers, dedicating our time to mapping the invisible wonders of the cosmos together without rushing to false certainties. Now, let us return to the quiet breathing of the cosmos and the ultimate, beautiful destiny of the information that makes up exactly who you are. The brilliant astronomer Carl Sagan once profoundly stated that we are a way for the cosmos to know itself. In the illuminating light of everything we have explored about the quantum information field, this highly poetic statement is revealed to be a literal, rigorous, scientific truth. For almost 14 billion years, the universe expanded, cooled, and organized itself with unimaginable patience. It forged the heavy, necessary elements in the violent, fiery hearts of ancient supernovas, scattering that rich, life-giving stardust across the vast, empty interstellar voids, and allowing it to slowly coalesce into spiraling galaxies, rocky planets, deep blue oceans, and eventually the astonishingly intricate biological architecture of the human brain. The universe went through all of this majestic, patient labor for one specific, beautiful purpose: to create a biological instrument complex enough to house a highly integrated, self-aware quantum information field. You are literally the ancient universe, waking up from a long, silent, unconscious sleep. Your consciousness is not a random, isolated spark flickering insignificantly in the dark. It is the absolute pinnacle of cosmic evolution. When you feel a deep, overwhelming sense of wonder looking at a delicate, fragile flower blooming in the spring, or a distant galaxy captured by our greatest telescopes, it is literally the universe experiencing its own magnificent beauty through the unique, absolutely unrepeatable lens of your specific quantum pattern. But what happens when we dare to look forward, gazing deep into the unimaginable, staggering depths of deep time? Cosmologists and theoretical physicists tell us that trillions of years from now, long after our sun has faded, the very last stars in the cosmos will eventually exhaust their nuclear fuel and quietly fade into the absolute dark. The universe will enter a state of profound eternal quiet, populated only by slowly evaporating black holes and the freezing, invisible embers of ancient suns. In classical, entirely materialistic terms, this sounds like a terrifying, absolute end to all meaning and conscious life. But when we look through the enlightened lens of the quantum information field, this long, quiet twilight is not an ending at all. It is simply the grand, final phase transition of the ultimate cosmic archive. We must remember the sacred law of physics. Fundamental information can never be destroyed. The specific, intricate quantum state of every thought you have ever had, every moment of profound love you have ever shared, every tear you have ever shed, and the entire magnificent structural blueprint of your consciousness will remain perfectly preserved in the fundamental vacuum of space. The universe will become a vast, silent, infinite library holding the complete, eternal, perfectly detailed memory of everything that has ever existed. Because the rigid arrow of time is a localized biological illusion, your experience of life does not actually vanish into an inaccessible past. It remains an eternal, permanent fixture in the four-dimensional geometry of space-time. You are a permanent, indestructible resident of eternity. To fully embrace this scientifically grounded and deeply philosophical revelation is to experience a radical, gentle transformation of the human heart and mind. We spend so much of our daily lives burdened by the fear of loss, the persistent anxiety of running out of time, and the deep, haunting existential dread of our own apparent insignificance in the face of the staggering cosmic scale. But the rigorous physics of the quantum soul teaches us that our insignificance is the greatest, most tragic illusion of all. You do not need to fight against the flow of time, and you do not need to fear the eventual dissolution of your biological form. Your biological body is simply a temporary, beautiful spacesuit, miraculously woven from the heavy elements of the earth, allowing your eternal quantum information field to navigate and interact with the three-dimensional world of solid matter. When the time eventually comes for you to leave this biological suit behind, you are not stepping out into a terrifying void of nothingness. You are simply quietly returning home. You are releasing the localized, heavy constraints of human biology and allowing your unique, beautiful wave of information to wash back into the infinite, non-local ocean of the cosmos. The rigid boundary between the internal self and the external universe completely dissolves, revealing the breathtaking, peaceful truth that you have always been and will absolutely always be, everywhere and everything. As we bring this particular chapter of our meditative journey to a gentle, quiet close, we must remember that the true purpose of this cosmic exploration was never to provide rigid, absolute answers that kill the beautiful, necessary mystery of existence. The truest science does not end with a definitive period. It always ends with a comma, followed by an even deeper, more breathtaking question. The concept of the quantum soul is not a closed book. It is a wide open door, gently inviting us to walk with deep humility and endless wonder into the infinite unknown. The mystery of human consciousness remains the absolute greatest frontier in modern science, a multi-layered puzzle that will require many generations of curious minds to explore. But you do not need a perfect mathematical equation to feel the profound truth of your own eternal nature. You only need to step outside, look up at the ancient stars shining in the dark, breathe deeply into the quiet silence of the night, and listen to the gentle, ancient hum of the universe echoing perfectly within your own beating heart. This is not the end of our journey together. It is simply a gentle pause, a beautiful moment to rest our minds and deeply integrate the vastness of what we have seen and felt. There are still so many hidden dimensions to explore, and so many cosmic mysteries patiently waiting for our quiet, observing gaze. Until we meet again in this safe, quiet space of shared discovery, allow yourself to live fully in the immense beauty of the present moment. Treat your thoughts with the profound respect they deserve, knowing they are literal ripples in the eternal, vibrating fabric of reality. Rest well, my beautiful cosmic traveler, knowing that you are entirely safe, you are completely infinite, and you are deeply, permanently woven into the magnificent, indestructible tapestry of the universe.